Good luck. That good?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Believe me, it's been an exciting life. I started riding in 74, but I didn't even know anything about racehorse or thoroughbreds until my senior year in high school. And I was introduced to Isaac Murphy, of all people. Of course, of course, it was a matter of African American History Week. It was a week back then. I don't mean to tell my age, but it's a long time ago. But anyway, when I did that, I was invited to go during spring break to go to Belmont Park. And when I went to Belmont Park, it was a Saturday and it was a foggy day. I mean, it was really it was foggy. You couldn't even see the horses. But I was at the end of the stretch at the clubhouse turn on the ground level, and all you could do was hear them coming. And like four strikes out of the fog into the fog. Man, I knew that's what I wanted to do. That summer I walked horses, and I got invited to break yearlings. I already told you, I'm from Brooklyn. And I went to New York School of Printing, and we didn't deal with horses. You understand, right? Good. Because when I went to break yearlings, I broke yearlings two crops. On the second crop, I happened to be fortunate enough to break horses for Mr. Mangering for Tommy Rule. Mangering was the owner of the Boston Celtics at that time. So that means I got good horses to get to ride. But when I did get to ride, I started riding in that June, 2 years later, and I run third in Belmont Park. And then I got to ride. I win my first race, the 4th of July in the Aqueduct. From that time on, I had a great career. That winter, I was in Gulfstream Park when I realized I was notified that the horse that I won my first race on, and I won a number of races, was nominated for the Kentucky Derby. And not till then did I know the importance of being a dark bay or brown jockey. I'm going to put it politely as a racetrack thing. You know what I mean? I know there's a lot of horsemen here, hopefully, and they understand. Being a black jockey in New York, anyway, at that time, was a big thing. I was even labeled, and I took it as an honor, as the black shoe. And we all know who the real shoe is. But I was honored by it. But I did mention to some of the reporters that I'd rather be James Long. And I would make a name of that. And I did. But thank you. But coming to the Florida during the winter meet, I was notified that I was gonna, my horse, Valor Appeal, great horse. I love that. I broke him. Won my first race on the 4th of July in Aqueduct. So the full house, and after that, I didn't care what they were saying about me, which all compliments, may I say. Because I was winning a lot of races, leading the apprentice rider, second leading rider to, how many racetrackers know Angel Gadero? I was second. I didn't get past him. I had to stay on Desert Vixen. But anyway, in Gulfstream, they mentioned that I was going to be, my horse, Valor Appeal, was nominated for the Kentucky Derby. But, as life would has it, It's not if you're going to break a bone as a rider, is when. 7 weeks before the Derby, ankle. Neither one of us made it, but we did win the Dwyer Handicap. That's the first major race right after the Triple Crown for 3-year-old colts. So we was legitimate to be there. And I moved on, rode horses in Chicago, Detroit, Philadelphia, all over. I made a name for myself. And it's easy to remember me because short, long, dark bay or brown. So I did a lot of things for African American History Month. And as a matter of fact, I didn't even get introduced to high school about racing. I was introduced because I had to do a book report on, guess who? Isaac Murphy. What? Okay, I didn't even know my Isaac Murphy. I thought maybe he was like Jackie Robinson. But when did I find out that their very first Kentucky Derby was won by, oh, I love educated people, I swear to God. Right. And he happened to be an African American, the very first. And I took pride in that. So when I was nominated for the Kentucky Derby, and I took pride in it, but exactly 7 weeks before the Derby, you know what happened, right? I broke that ankle. So we both missed it. And we come back and win the Dwyer and But afterwards, I got get to riding all over the country, U.S., Chicago, Detroit, Jersey. I did it all. I had a great career. I didn't do the thousands and the hundreds of thousands, and I did great. I admired doing what I did. And that put me in a class of my own, so to say. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of African Americans. Don't get me wrong, ladies and gentlemen, but there wasn't. When I would ride in New York, I was the only one. And when I ride in Chicago, I was the only one. Jersey, I was the only one. In Philadelphia, on and on and on. And I took pride in it. And I'm grateful that I'm able to tell everybody of my pride. Wait a minute, time out. I had another opportunity. I went to the Caribbean and became the leading money earner in Caribbean. The Jamaican dollar's not a whole lot of money. Don't get me wrong. But I had fun. Could you imagine I only rode 2 days a week? I became the president of the Jockey Association and nominated for the on the board of directors for the racetrack at Caymanas Park. I had a great time 9 years later, and I came back. But when I came back to go to do the accreditation things in Louisville, Kentucky. And I had fun doing that when I wind up riding. But like I said before, it's not if, but when you break something. And again, how many people know about the box of bone that you break? I broke it. Yeah, I cried. I only cried because I was working horses. But then Randy Romero, a very good friend of mine, a great jockey and turning agent, called me up and asked me if I wanted to ride the Derby. I thought he was messing around with it. I cussed him out a lot. I called him a lot of bad words. That was 2 days after I broke my hand. And he said, no, he was serious because Marlon St. Julian will be the first African American to ride the Kentucky Derby in 2002. That's 100 years after Jimmy Winkfield won it. He was the last black jockey to win the Kentucky Derby. I cried. I, I didn't know what to do to say, but I broke his hand and I couldn't. He ran in the entry, but it was just the idea of being the first African American to ride since 1910. The last African. I'm not trying to give you all African American History Month. I don't see a whole lot of afros in here, but but I'm gonna let you know it's been a while, and then educated. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And those people, those times, in that time, I would have been the first in 100 years to participate in the Kentucky Derby, which I love to this day. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I am now a state steward in Michigan, and I'm still in the game. I love this game. You have to love this. Oh, by the way, you got to be a little crazy to love this game too.